Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Yesterday, I did a video on this platform, actually 2 videos. In one of the videos, I gave 5 biggest mistakes which Rigathi Gachagua is committing and are likely to cost William Ruto the presidency. Then in the next video, I also dissected the crisis meeting which William Ruto held over Martha Karua wave in the larger Mount Kenya region. Rigathi Gachagua is going to mess William Ruto big time. And in one of my suggestions, I suggested that these guys needed to repackage Rigathi Gachagua. And again, amongst the 5 mistakes I listed, one of them is this notion by Rigathi Gachagua to appear as the leader of the Kikuyu nation. William Ruto needs the Kikuyu vote and require their support for his bid to be successful. But the choice of Rigathi Gachagua is going to sink him down. Yesterday, William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua attended some functions, and Rigathi Gachagua made a statement. That statement is causing confusion amongst William Ruto supporters. He actually demanded 50% of government to go to the Kikuyu nation, reviving the memory of Nusu Mikate. In this video, I want us to look at those demands and why they are going to mess William Ruto. Before that, Rigathi Gachagua also made a statement. And personally, the way I'm looking at it, William Ruto is not going to become the next president of the Republic of Kenya. Not because of anything, but because of his choice of the running mate. I don't want to assume that Martha Karua has actually caused a serious wave in the mountain. I think the problem is the choice of William Ruto's running mate, Rigathi Gachagua. A bad choice. So yesterday, in the presence of William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua took to the podium, took the microphone, and addressed Kenyans, specifically the Kikuyus. And in that address, he was like, he won't forgive Uhuru Kenyatta because Uhuru Kenyatta took some electricity projects and some dam projects to Nyanza. That's a presidential candidate. That's a running mate, because as a running mate, should anything happen to the president, he takes over. So Rigathi Gachagua has a lot of hatred for other communities. And the sooner William Ruto repackages Rigathi Gachagua, he's going to lose. In fact, Raila Odinga should just go and rest. I want you to listen very briefly to Rigathi Gachagua and interpret what he means there before we proceed.
Wana program hapa ya sima ya watu ya Mount Kenya ya 3 billion tulikuwa tumesikizana na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ya kwamba wewe rais, tumekutenda mema, tumekupenda kama mtoto wetu, tumekufanya rais miaka 10. Tunataka ukienda kupumzika kila boma katika Mount Kenya ikuwe na stima. Tukaweka pesa kando. Hii kitendawili amekuja ameleta fujo, achukue hiyo pesa. Huyu kijana anaitwa Kimani Ichung'wa na huyu Kuria walikuwa kamati ya budget. Wakaambiwa watoe pesa kwa mlima, wapeleke kwa mtu ya kitendawili. Ichung'wa na Kuria wakakataa, Uhuru akawafukuza. Kukakuja hii kijana ya kwetu anaitwa Kanini Koru. Mnasikianga yeye? Mnasikianga yeye? Akakuja akasaini hiyo pesa yote ile Kuria na Ichung'wa walikataa, ikapelekwa huko. Watu wetu sasa, Uhuru anaenda kustaafu, hakuna stima. Hiyo hatuwezi samehea wewe kitendawili. Hii barabara zote zimesimama hapa Mount Kenya ni pesa yetu, pia alichukua akapeleka huko. Sasa tunauliza, huyu mtu ametuumiza, amekuja hapa amejificha, amepakwa rangi, ati amesafishwa. Mnaweza changanyikiwa? Mnaweza changanyikiwa? Sisi nauliza, punda hata ikipakwa rangi ya zebra, ipakwe rangi ya nini? Saa ya kutoa ndulu saa 10, siitalia kipunda? Siitalia kipunda? Mimi nataka nimwambie hawa wanapanga huyu kitendawili, mujaribu kuuza yeye pahali ingine, hapana kwa hii mlima. Sisi ni watu werevu, we cannot make a mistake. Huyu ni mtu hajatakia sisi mema tangu zamani.
Now I want to ask you, assuming you are Luo and you are supporting William Ruto, and Rigathi Gachagua, who is your running mate, is making such statements, would you forgive Ruto for choosing Rigathi Gachagua? Anyway, that's not the subject for this analysis today. I want us to analyze this 50% demand from Rigathi Gachagua. Before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you guys to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. So please, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And don't forget to give this particular video thumbs up, because that's one way of promoting the channel. I want to be a bit brief on this regarding the issue, because yesterday I offered my unsolicited advice to the DP. And one of the things the DP needs to do, basically, is to try and repackage Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua is a former DO. He's a choir master. And sometimes he goes overboard. You can understand. But William Ruto needs to tame Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua, I don't think there's a vote in the larger Mount Kenya region which Rigathi Gachagua is bringing to Ruto. He's just meant to hold the votes. Those who are voting for Ruto had already decided. And the only thing which is now happening is that the appointment of Martha can persuade some. But I don't think the fact that Ruto appointed Rigathi Gachagua can make someone in the mountain to vote for Ruto if he had decided or if he had not decided. So he was saying that they are going to demand 50% of the government from Ruto. And that the only way to get those 50% from Ruto is for them to vote. And he gave the example of the Western. That Western has a target of 30% of government, but they must meet 70% of the votes. And according to him, Musalia Mudavadi and the team are working hard, which is okay. But the question, assuming Ruto Mudavadi will get the 70%, then Ruto gives the mountain that 50%. That's already 80%, because if Mudavadi and Waita were to deliver 70% of the votes, they are going to be entitled to 30% of government. So we are talking of 30% of government already going to Western. That's actually deposited with the political parties. Then 50% now goes to Central. That means the two tribes already forms 80% of government. Then what percentage will be going to the Rift Valley? Let's assume the rest of the country. So 20%. So the statement by Rigathi Gachagua is basically doing more harm for the DP in the following ways. Number one, it exposes Kenya Kwanza to fake promises. You know, there are certain things which cannot work. Even the 30% being promised to Western cannot work. But I know it can work when it's allocated to ANC as a political party. But it is being packaged for Western. You see, Musalia Mudavadi as a political leader has support across the country. So assuming he's given 30%, then in that 30% of government, then he agrees that, okay, I have my supporter from the coast, I'm giving this, another one from Central, another one from Kisii, another one from Luland. It makes sense. But they are packaging it to target the Western vote so that it appears like 30% is for Western. That's exactly what Rigathi Gachagua is promising. So those promises are fake. You can't give Western Kenya 30% of government from ANC party. It can't work. You can't promise Central 50%. You see, like Kibaki and Raila had 50-50. So once Kibaki was given his 50%, then he knew how to split it. Raila had his 50%, he gave Western this, Coast this, and that. So the promise, the public promise is, demand is putting to Ruto, is exposing Kenya Kwanza further. Number two, it also raises the question about Kenya Kwanza and the country, whether their campaigns is focused more on the numbers rather than the question of Kenya. You see, it's very fashionable to promise Musalia Mudavadi 30% of government, but I don't think it's fashionable to promise Rigathi Gachagua that 50% of government will be going to the mountain. Doing that would mean that we now have 80% already locked. What will the rest of the country get? So that's something which William Ruto and his team will be dealing with. And I'm sure, because it's a campaign period, Raila Odinga team are already picking some of these things, and they'll be taking them to the ground, asking people whether it's possible. Actually, they can use it, because remember, in 2007, it was 1 versus 42. In 2013, it was 2 versus 42. Now, if you come up with this again, the mentality of Kenya is that, no, that one should not work. It can't work. It can't work. So Kenyans will be questioning whether Ruto is just out giving promises or whether he will actually live to keep those promises. Number three, I think it's also going to revive the questions about positions. William Ruto has tried so hard that, and is taking credit for changing the narrative from positions to issues. Okay? So when you talk of 30% of government, what are you talking about? And you go further and talk another 50% of government. What are you talking about? You are talking about positions. Remember, William Ruto has already created a position of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, which Musalia Mudavadi is going to occupy if they form government. So that's another position. But they wanted to package this campaign as issue-based, as economy-based, so that William Ruto can go to the people of the Nyanza region and tell them, you don't need to be in government. One of you doesn't need to be a minister or maybe a deputy president for you to benefit. What we need is to create a conducive environment. But going to the mountain and telling them that I'm going to give you 50% of government, or going to Western and telling them we're going to give you 30% of government, it means that that narrative about just changing the economy without positions is neither here nor there. Number four, Rigathi Gachagua is also coming out as a loose tongue. And very few Kenyans would want to associate with such kind of individual. And that's why I gave the example, like if you are a Luo. Yeah, like for example, after that statement by Rigathi Gachagua, which was actually made yesterday after he had been appointed as a cabinet secretary, as a running mate, would you support Ruto? Because Ruto and Rigathi are now tied on a ticket. You see, like when Rigathi was not William Ruto's running mate, he would talk and he would say, okay, that's not Ruto. But now we are talking of a guy who is a presidential candidate, for that matter. Yeah? Talking as if he got power today, he would go to Nyanza and pull all those electricity poles. If anything, if there's some region which has really not benefited much from Jubilee government, it's Nyanza. The last mile was a cash cow, that's the truth. But even as much as it was a cash cow in the first term, very few houses benefited from it in my area. Yeah, the electricity which we have was actually installed long time ago. So by expressing this kind of, by talking the way he talks, that's loose tongue, and that's going to be something which the DP and the team will have to figure out. And lastly, I think it has the potential of rallying Kenyans against Ruto Rigathi ticket. So now, from this statement, you can easily rally the rest of the country against William Ruto. And you can say, okay, Ruto is a good guy, it's not bad, he's excellent, yeah, but the only person who is bad here is Rigathi Gachagua. So you can easily claim that Rigathi Gachagua, but they're a ticket. So it means voting for Ruto means voting for Rigathi. So if you leave alone his reform credentials, he has that Dio mentality. You see, and that's why I don't know whether that's their strategy of trying to set up the Kikuyus against the Luos. I don't know. I'm yet to understand that by talking about a project, government project in Nyanza, that a port has been built in Nyanza, therefore, while in most cases, even that port, people doing business there, people constructing it, people selling goods there, probably are Kikuyus. Luos might not even bother. But let us wait and see. But I think Rigathi Gachagua's loose mouth is something which should disturb William Ruto and his brigades. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.